My pure hatred for ND filters led me to buy the Sony FX6, which is the camera that I'm currently recording on. And that is partially because it has built-in electronic ND filters. It's really tough when I'm shooting on my A7S III because I don't have that feature built in. So I wanted to find the best option of a external variable screw-on ND filter that I could. And that's when I found the NISI, I really don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not gonna act like I do. NISI, we're gonna call it the NISI. How about that? The NISI True Color filter. And I think this is truly the best variable ND filter on the market. That is without testing all of them. And I'm gonna tell you why. So if you're looking for the best variable ND filter and you wanna see some real world examples, this is the video for you. Stay tuned. Whisper. That's a good whisper. Can you speak? Speak. Oh, that's a good speak. Get out of here. So what I'm gonna be doing in this video is comparing this ND filter, this little circular out exterior ND filter, to the one that is built into my FX6, and see who comes out on top. And I'll give you a little hint. I was kind of surprised at the results. I have a little strategy here for how to make this the easiest system to use, and I'm gonna talk about that at the end of the video. It is a cool attachment that I found online. If you want a really quick way to put this on and off lenses, stay till the end. I'm sure you already know what an ND filter is if you're watching this video, but if you don't, it's basically sunglasses that you put over your camera to reduce the amount of light that is hitting the sensors so that you can make your correct exposure adjustments. Basically, sunglasses for your camera so that you can have a higher aperture, get a blurry background, and make sure that you are at the correct shutter speed. So first, I want to talk about some pros that I really like about this filter and what you might like as well when looking at it. For one, it's just built awesome. Like, it's built like a tank. Built out of high quality aluminum, offering you a really sturdy build and a nice metal filter to hold on to. It's got these silver-sided knurlings, which make it nice and easy to grip onto so that you could rotate it. A really nice knob to change your stops, increase the amount of ND or decrease. It also, which I really like, has these stop indication markers on the black part of the filter, and it has hard stops at 1 and 5. This is awesome. I know my original ND filter that I had, it was a decent ND filter, but it didn't have this. So it was really, it showed you where the stops end, obviously, but it didn't actually stop. So it was really easy, if I'm not looking at it, to go over, and then you get the vignetting, then you gotta bring it back. It has a 1 to 5 stop light reduction, which isn't an incredible amount, but it's enough for a lot of the work that I'm gonna be doing with my Sony A7S III. And if I know that I'm gonna be using that camera outside and need more, I'm pretty sure they have an add-on system where you could add more stops to that. It has a really nice nano coating on the exterior, which is going to help with grease, fingerprints, water, a bunch of stuff like that. So it's really nice to know that this is coated. On their website, they recommend using a 35mm or greater focal length with this so that you don't get the vignetting. I didn't find any problems using a wider focal length. What I do is I buy the largest diameter filter, and then I use step-up rings on all my lenses to match that size. So I think this one is, yeah, it's 82. So it's the largest size that I could buy. Looks a little funny, but this way I don't have any chance of vignetting, and it really does help with a lot of the image quality in terms of the vignetting and the color shift and all that stuff. Another thing that's nice about this is it includes a really nice front lens cap and a nice little case to carry it around in. This is nice, and I do really appreciate this. So what are the cons that I found with this filter? Well, it's only 1 to 5 stops, so that might be a downside for some people. Like I said, you can buy an extension type kit. I think it's called the NISI Swift, and you could add that on. I haven't done a ton of research into that because it hasn't been something that I've necessarily needed. I would say the other downside of this filter is that it is pretty expensive. Compared to some of the other more expensive filters on the market, such as the Polar Pro, it's not that bad of a deal, but it comes out at $285 Canadian. So I think it's worth it for the value, but for a lot of people that might be a barrier. And I totally understand that because $285 is a lot of money to throw at a filter. Okay, when doing my comparisons, I made a crucial scientific mistake in my research, and that is I didn't have a baseline. So I should have just cranked my shutter and seen what these Sony colors look like in all these situations out of camera. I only have the Sony ND, the built-in ND filter, to compare to the NISI True Color. There was a color difference. What I found was the Sony filter came out with a bit more of a bluish tealish kind of color cast across the whole image. And the NISI gave a very, I have to say, a very magenta-y color shift to the image. These are very scientific words that I'm using. In comparison to my old ND filter, this is not really that bad. Magenta is quite easy to fix in post. The other one, it would just give like a crazy color cast on the whole thing. So I was really impressed by this overall. Obviously, they're not gonna match up perfectly. I would white balance both cameras in camera so that you have a little bit more of a true white, which I didn't do with this either. I just used 5500 to kind of see if there was gonna be a difference. I was using the FX6 for both of these images. So the sensor, all of the settings, everything's the same. The exposure might be a little off because I didn't use the exact same amount of stops. I just kind of looked at the monitor and did it to my eye. But overall, I would really recommend this filter if you're looking for something to either match colors or just, you know, have an external ND filter. I think this is the way to go. What I was gonna show you at the end here, this guy. This is the HNY Revo Ring, whatever it's called. And basically, you screw this onto the filter, and then the filter's on top, and I'll show you, I'm holding this, so I gotta do that. So now the Revo Ring is attached to the NISI filter, and obviously now I can use my filter, but what this does is it allows me to put it on different step-up rings. So watch this. So basically, you close this circle and then it goes into whatever the amount of step-up ring you have is, and then you let it out and it expands with a spring to stay in there. So instead of screwing on stuff, all you gotta do is turn this and put it onto a camera. It saves so much time. From my experience, it's worked really well. It does move a little bit, so you kind of got to hold the Revo Ring and then change your ND. This is going to save you a lot of time and really money. If you tried to get a filter for all your lenses, this is the best, absolute best ND filter system that you could have on a mirrorless camera. If you're interested how I got the color in this video, I'm using Phantom LUTs, and I have a video all on that in my workflow. I will link that right here. Thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.